This might be the reason you don't sleep tonight. We're diving into the deep end of the unknown, exploring 5 of the most baffling and downright paranormal missing persons cases in history. These aren't just stories of people who vanished. They're tales that defy all logical explanation. Let's start with number 5, the Sodder children. Christmas Eve, 1945, in Fayetteville, West Virginia. A fire rips through the Sodder family home. George and Jenny Sodder escape with 4 of their 9 children, but 5 are trapped inside. Heartbreaking, right? But here's where it gets bizarre. When the fire was finally put out, no remains of the 5 children were ever found. Not a bone, not a tooth, nothing. The official story was that the fire was hot enough to completely cremate them, but experts at the time said that was impossible. For the rest of their lives, the Sodders believed their children were kidnapped, possibly by the local mafia, and the fire was just a diversion. They even put up a billboard with the kids' faces, offering a reward which stayed up for over 30 years. Did they perish in the fire, or did they vanish into thin air, taken by something or someone in the chaos of that Christmas night? Coming in at number 4 is the Flannan Isles Lighthouse Mystery. Picture this, a remote rocky island off the coast of Scotland. December 1900. 3 experienced lighthouse keepers, Thomas Marshall, James Ducat, and Donald MacArthur, are stationed there. A passing ship notices the light is out and radios for help. When a relief crew finally arrives, they find the lighthouse in perfect order. The table was set for a meal that was never eaten. An overturned chair was the only sign of any disturbance. But the 3 keepers? Gone. Vanished. The strangest part? The keepers' oilskin coats were still inside, meaning at least one of them went out into a raging storm without proper gear, which was against all regulations. Theories range from a freak wave washing them away to a fight, or even something more sinister, like an encounter with a sea serpent or an otherworldly entity. They simply disappeared from a locked island. Number 3 takes us to Bennington, Vermont, and the so-called Bennington Triangle, a hotspot of strange disappearances in the mid-20th century. The most famous case is that of Paula Jean Weldon. In 1946, this 18-year-old college student told her roommate she was going for a walk on the Long Trail. Several people saw her start her hike, and then she was gone. An extensive search involving the FBI and thousands of volunteers found absolutely nothing. It was like she just stepped off the path and into another dimension. Eerily, another man, James Tedford, vanished from a moving bus in the same area 3 years later. He was seen sleeping in his seat by other passengers, but when the bus arrived at its destination, all his belongings were still on the luggage rack. But James was gone. How does someone vanish from a moving bus? Now for our number 2, the truly chilling case of Frederick Valentich. In 1978, 20-year-old pilot Frederick Valentich was on a routine training flight over the Bass Strait in Australia. He radioed air traffic control to report a strange aircraft flying near him. He described it as long, metallic, and moving at incredible speeds with 4 bright green lights. He said, "It's not an aircraft." His last words were haunting. Over an open mic, air traffic control heard 17 seconds of a harsh metallic scraping sound before the transmission cut out. Neither Valentich nor his Cessna plane were ever seen again. Years later, a new photo emerged, allegedly taken by a man on the shore that night, showing a dark object moving out of the water. Was Valentich one of the first documented victims of a UFO abduction? And finally, our number 1 most paranormal missing person case, Zygmunt Adamski. In 1980, Adamski, a 56-year-old coal miner in Poland, left his home to run a simple errand and never returned. 5 days later, his body was discovered on top of a 12-foot-high pile of coal miles away from his home. He was wearing a suit, but his shirt, watch, and wallet were missing. The autopsy revealed something truly bizarre. He had only been dead for a few hours. So where was he for those 5 days? His body had strange, unexplainable burn marks on his neck and shoulders, and he was covered in a weird greenish ointment that couldn't be identified. The policeman who found the body, Alan Godfrey, later reported his own UFO encounter just months after, in the very same area. Did Zygmunt Adamski have a close encounter of the worst kind? Was he taken, studied, and then returned? From haunted lighthouses to UFOs and interdimensional triangles, these cases remind us that sometimes the truth isn't just stranger than fiction. It's completely out of this world. What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments.